afternoon, everyone, on Hometalk. We're so happy that you're joining us here live. This is Jenny Lynn coming to you from Fusion Mineral Paint. Really happy to be here again. Love doing these live videos for you. Today we've got something really cool and special happening. We are going to be working with this beautiful heart. Valentine's Day is just around the corner, and we want to show you what you can do with a couple of scrap pieces of wood and trim and molding that you have lying around. Go into your garage, find a couple scrap pieces, and you can put together something like this. And it's really easy. Just grab a piece of plywood for the back and glue the little pieces on the front and cut it off. And we're going to show you how to distress it and paint it up and make it look all super gorgeous. All right, so let's get you to come down here and check out what we are working with today. So again, I'm the creator of Fusion Mineral Paint, and Fusion Mineral Paint is a beautiful product to work with. It is completely zero VOC, and it is a really beautiful self-leveling paint. So I'm going to show you using our gorgeous color, Champness. This is a really pretty soft blue, and I'm going to show you how great the coverage is. I love this. And you don't need a lot of paint. A little goes a long way. So I'm going to paint this piece here using the Champness. Now, what I love about Fusion Mineral Paint is that it uses real minerals, so there's no chemicals, smells like that. It's really natural to work with. And again, remember how I said it's got these self-leveling properties? You get virtually no brush strokes whatsoever, which is great. And I'm just using a synthetic brush, and I'm going along the trim. And when you are working with it, you want to use just enough paint. See how I keep getting a little bit more? Because if I put too much paint on, you may actually see some brush strokes. So if you have just enough paint on your brush, you won't get those brush strokes, and just enough pressure too. I kind of go across sideways to kind of drag the paint along, and I try not to push down to pull the paint. I want to know, where is everyone watching from today? We are in beautiful wintry wonderland today. We are up in Blue Mountain, which is Collingwood area in Ontario, and I am staring at the ski hills while you are staring at us. Maybe we'll give you a sneak peek of that after.
I've got someone from Victoria, Australia,
beautiful,
and the Netherlands.
Wow, this is fabulous. So that is one quick coat on there, super easy. It's going to dry to the touch in about 10, 15, 20 minutes or so. And I want to introduce you to something that is new that you may not have used before, because we can see we've got beautiful wood here. And I want to use a natural stain so that when I go through and put another coat on top of it and I do my distressing, that you can actually see a beautiful stain color coming through. So what I'm going to be using today is an all-natural stain. It doesn't have any chemicals at all. It's made by Homestead House Milk Paint Company, and that's actually also the creator of Fusion Mineral Paint. And this is actually a family business. So my parents own the company, and I have been working with them for just over almost 20 years now. It's crazy. So I'm going to show you how to make this paint. It is a milk paint stain, and it is so easy to use. You really just take a little bit of water and some powder, and you pour it in. When you're doing a stain, you may want to do, say, 2 parts water to 1 part powder. And if you have a whisk, you can use it, or I'm just going to use my brush and kind of mix it around. And you just want to give a little stir here. And this is really easy to use. You may be able to see a couple of the pigments too, which is really great. Some of the reds and the blues that really give, oh, there's some yellow there. That gives it the real intensity of the color. But it's really simple, just a little stir with some water. A lot of people often say, oh, it's milk paint. Do you have to add milk? Nope, you just add water. It's got real milk protein in there. And what that does is when you apply it to the wood, like I'm gonna do here, is when you've got raw wood, it actually binds with the wood fibers and becomes a part of the wood. So it kind of cements itself to it, and really is just a stunning product to work with. And the stain is just so easy to use. If you're a little hesitant to stain, or if you've been using maybe something else that has a bit stronger of a smell and you're not loving it, you will love using this because there's literally no smell to it whatsoever. And
no disgusting eye stinging smells.
Really nice to work with. and it goes on really easy. I think one of the things about stain is it can be so intimidating to work with, and if you don't get it on quite properly, and then you've got start and stop marks, and it's just really scary. With this, it's just easy peasy. Can't even tell you how easy it is. If you want to give it a try, you can visit homesteadhouse.ca and you can get more information there on how to try the milk paint stain, and it's just really, really beautiful to work with. So,
Dries in, what, 10 minutes?
yeah, once it's dry, you are done and ready to go for your next step. So there we are. So I've got some stain here, and I'm going to flip over to another one that I already had sort of pre-done, because we're going to put on a couple more layers. I'm going to show you how we're going to see the stain coming through. So I'm going to set that aside. How's everyone doing out there? You got any questions for us? We're super excited to be doing this and working with you. What else is everyone doing on a Monday? What are you painting?
Sorry, I'm just looking. We've got some people joining us from Michigan and Florida, Illinois.
All over. This is wonderful. All right, so you can see here, I applied the stain, and the stain has dried on this one, and I did my beautiful champness, and it's just super, super smooth. There's no brush strokes whatsoever. It is soft. People say Fusion Mineral Paint goes on like butter, and it really does. It's just so super soft. There is not a brush stroke to be seen. Just stunning. And that was on a pre-primed MDF board. Now, the great thing with Fusion Mineral Paint is you don't have to prime, and there's very minimal prep work required. So I didn't do any touch-ups, I didn't sand, I didn't do anything. All right, now let's go with Homestead Blue. That is one of my favorite blues. I think we're doing all blues this time. It's going to be a blue heart, but it's a happy heart. So I'm going to pour just a little bit of the paint on. It's lovely to work with, this Fusion Mineral Paint. Gorgeous. Has anyone used Fusion Mineral Paint before?
There's a couple here who have used the stain and they're quite happy with it.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, I love the stain. Again, it's just so easy to work with. Now we've got a giveaway that we're going to be doing today. Okay. And what I want to know is, where would you hang this in your home? So this heart, I think there's a couple of really fun things that you could do with it. You could put your wedding vows on the back of it and hang it up. You could do sort of your initials of when you're married and a year on there. That would be really super cute. And I even thought about a proposal, like a "Will you marry me?" How cute would that be? I thought that would be super, super adorable. What a great way to propose.
Yeah, you could customize it in many different ways. There was a question regarding whether or not you could use the stain outside.
Oh yeah, great question.
I mean, you could use the stain outside. It is a water soluble, so some of it will run away, but that's why you would need to put a tung oil on top of it. So if you just had a fence board and applied the stain over time, it would fade, but protect it with the tung oil and you're fine to go.
Yeah, and I think the difference between this stain and many others on the market is that it is it's completely natural, and it's not going to chip and peel away over time, whereas a lot of others with synthetic resins in it will.
Especially if it's the stain coating all in one, those products will peel on you when used on the outside.
So I'm doing a bit of a dry brush here, and a little heavier in some areas, a little lighter in others, just to give you a bit of a different variation. It's kind of nice to change it up every now and then, and dry brushing is really easy. All I'm doing is, I've got very little paint on the brush, and I'm just kind of dragging across, and it makes it look like weathered and aged, and that's kind of the look that we're going for here.
I think a lot of people like the whole wedding vows and
mixing my colors.
Customize it for that.
Yeah, it's so cute. What a great idea.
Yeah, a couple of people want to give it away as a Valentine's present.
Yeah.
Put it over their bed with the date.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Married.
Oh, that's really sweet. So this color that I just used is Little Lamb, and Little Lamb is from our Tones for Tots collection, and Tones for Tots is a really wonderful product range of colors that I came out with when I was expecting my first son about a year and a half ago, and I just thought, you know, it's so important to be aware of what products we're using in our homes these days, and knowing that the Tones for Tots line is very safe, that just gives you peace of mind. Now we're gonna do something a little special here called decoupage. Has anyone here ever heard of Mod Podge or decoupage medium before? So I thought, let's add a little something to it. And with decoupage, you can virtually add any sort of paper to it. Today we're going to use napkins, and it's going to leave behind the print, which is really nice. So if you wanted to customize with the date and your name, you could print something out and then just decoupage it on, which is really awesome. So decoupage is clear, and I just kind of pre-cut before something that will fit to this row here. I just thought, oh, that'd be kind of neat to throw that on there. So super easy to decoupage. All you want to do is grab your decoupage medium, and you're going to brush it onto the surface that you want it to stick to, and just fairly light. You don't want it to be too thin, but not thick either. So you want to see it just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to brush that on. It's clear. Remember, it's going to dry clear. So don't worry if you're doing it on a darker color, you may actually see that this looks kind of white, but once it dries, it's totally clear. And I had sort of pre-cut this before to look, you know, it's not going to be absolutely perfect, but it's kind of cute to put it on. And once you lay it on, you kind of want to just squish it down and squeeze out any of the air bubbles that are in there. You can use a card if you've got a card laying around. Again, this is so super duper easy. You want to squeeze out any of the excess that may be in there. And then you can see that I need a little bit over here for this side to stick down, so I'll put some more there. And then you can go over top of it to really anchor it down. And again, this dries clear. Even though it looks like it's white, don't worry. That will all just clear up really nicely. And once it's dry, you can clean off the edges by taking a little card would actually take it right off on the edges once it's cured. So this is super easy. Has anyone ever used decoupage before? What's great about this one is it actually acts as a transfer medium as well. So if you wanted to transfer the images, you could do that too. So it's one of the wonderful versatile things about our product range at Fusion Mineral Paint is that you can pretty much achieve anything that you want with wonderful, healthy products.
Just to go back, there's a couple questions
regarding questions. Awesome.
Where we got the wooden heart from.
Awesome. So one of our fabulous merchants actually, I just pulled that all away. That's a big boo-boo. This is what not to do when you're working with a transfer.
Oh, right.
With the decoupage. It's
wet,
still very, very
you
fragile.
Can put a little bit more on top of that.
What I'm going to do actually is because this happened, I'm going to pull some more away on some other areas, and then I'm going to put a wax on it after.
Ooh, yes.
And it's going to just age it up really cool.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is the other thing that happens. You can never really make a mistake when you're painting and when you're working with other products and you're creating an art piece. That's what it is. It's art. And it's never meant to be 100% perfect when you're working with something that's a little bit, you know, vintage looking. So these things happen, and you just kind of go with it, and it's awesome. So I love it. It's going to look fabulous once it's done, because we're going to be distressing other parts of this as well. So this is great. All right, now I am going to take another color that we have and just add another layer down here. And I think I'll put this on just like that. Now, another product that we sometimes use in between is called a wax block. And what that does is it acts as a resist. So if I were to put that on underneath this paint, anywhere that I go to sand away after, that would just lift right off. So if you've heard of a wax block before, definitely give it a try. It makes your distressing super duper easy. And what color should we do the bottom? Any suggestions for what we should do? I think I'm going to leave this stain just as it is. It'll look really pretty, kind of intermixed there. Really cute. Any suggestions, anyone? What are your favorite colors? We've got lots of colors here.
I thought maybe hit the very bottom with the very top blue.
Oh, to ground it. That's a good idea. Yeah.
Sandwich it in a little bit.
I love that idea. Good idea. So we've got Homestead Blue again. It's funny, Homestead Blue is one of our heritage colors from Homestead House Paint Company that we've had for nearly 30 years. And it's just one of those really stunning, beautiful blues. It's a really great outdoor front door color as well. I know a lot of people have used this on their front doors. And that's the great thing about Fusion Mineral Paint is you can use it outside and it's extremely durable.
It's 100% acrylic. There's no vinyl in the acrylic, which makes it completely different than some of the other paint products on the market.
It just means that it can expand and contract better and really deal with the temperature changes depending on when you're living, whether it's high humidity or you know, very dry and hot. It can really work with all of that. All right, so let's do maybe a little bit of distressing. So I've got a piece of sandpaper here. Now you remember we initially had stained underneath the Champness Blue, and I'm going to take the sandpaper and just a very, very little bit here, and we can sort of see that color coming underneath through. And I'm going to take my sanding sponge, just a little softer.
I would always wait a few hours before sanding it. But this is, you know, for live demo, it still works.
Another thing that you can do before you sand it, if it's just something artistic like this, you can actually put on a wax first, and it makes it a little more difficult to sand through, but that's great because you have a little bit more control there. So I'm going to take our black wax, and this, you need so very little of it. It's very pigmented, but what's great about it is it doesn't overpower. I know a lot of the darker waxes that are on the market, you may be a little bit hesitant to use them because you feel like it could just be a bit of a disaster working with it, but I promise you, this is really, really easy to use. I'm going to buff that in there. I'm going to put a little bit on top of the dry brush piece too, because I find anytime you dry brush something, the wax just kind of hits some of the edges and the grooves, and it looks really, really awesome. I'm going to throw a little on here just to give a little bit of dimension to it. And then if you wanted to remove some of that, you could always take a bit of a clear wax that kind of removes it a little bit. And I don't think this is quite dry yet to do this, but what you could do is, again, stipple some of it on just to really make it look a little bit more rustic and old. And then I'll come by after and trim off. Once it's dry, I'll trim that off just using the card. And it comes off super duper easy. So at Fusion Mineral Paint, we've got over 50 different colors and so many wonderful accessory products to create this wonderful range. I'm going to do a little bit of distressing down here just to show you a bit of a two-tone effect. And I like to wet distress, and that happens when you take a little bit of water and you put it onto your sanding paper, and then it helps to kind of really naturally distress your piece. Now I just did this a few minutes ago.
Yeah,
Typically,
so
it's really fresh.
Wet.
Yeah, it's a fresh. But when you wet distress, you get just like a really nice subtle effect. So we'll try and do a nice close-up here after so you can see what it looks like. Wipe away any of this excess here. I think it's always a good idea to have a cloth laying around or something like that. Let's see, can you see that how it just got a really nice subtle effect
Just
there?
the tiniest bit of distressing, yeah.
It's very natural looking, and all I did for wet distressing was I took my reusable sanding sponge that our Fusion merchants carry. I got a little bit of water on it, and then I just rubbed it on, and it's so soft and smooth. Like, it is as soft as my little one-year-old baby bum. Little Taylor, who's having a nap right now. Yay! Every mom out there knows exactly what I'm saying. But this is so much fun, and you can keep distressing, you can keep layering, adding more things onto it, and I'm going to add a little bit of the wax to this piece here. So where does everyone want to put a piece like this in their home? Let's hear some wonderful ideas that are out there.
Oh my goodness, there was quite a few.
Quite a few, yeah.
Put on the walls, over the bed, above the bed.
Oh yeah.
But mainly it's going to be for wall decor, I believe. That's
Wall decor, beautiful.
main.
Now you can do a whole range of things. It doesn't have to be hearts. It can be any shape that you want. I want you to take a quick look at this. Can you see here how it's very dark and rich? So the milk paint stain does need a seal on it, and a seal could be a natural oil or a natural wax of some sorts. I happen to have the black wax on hand, but look at what happens when you add your top coat to it. It goes from sort of chalky, flat looking to much more rich and dark. And that's exactly the look that you're going for.
Yeah, you can definitely see how the beeswax really accentuates the look.
So I'll just add a little bit more to finish this side off. And I used our Fusion Mineral Paint brush that's a natural bristle. It also works as a wax brush, which is great. And then if I wanted to use this again for paint, I would just have to give it a good clean, use a mineral spirit to clean it off, and that's it. Really simple. So I don't know if you can see how rich and deep that goes, but it's really stunning and beautiful. It would do the same sort of rich depth even with the clear furniture wax that we have. But since I have this one on hand, why not? I think it's important to use what you have. You don't always have to buy everything new. And if you've got a pot of this around, why not use it? I actually really love how that black wax has gotten into sort of all those little grooves there. It looks beautiful.
How about on the green, just to have an overall effect of the black?
Yeah, just so you can see what it looks like too. So that looks really drastic, but guess what? You can pull it back. There we go. Stunning, really beautiful. Add a little more here. And that's the wonderful thing. When you're playing with the different products, you can't really make a mistake. You can add to it, you can change it, you can sand it, you can just play with it and have fun. And I think I'll do a little bit of, wet sanding up here too, just to bring out some of these grooves. You can see that beautiful stain underneath. So give a little bit more grit here, using something a little higher. You can come right down to the wood. It's just stunning. And I really like to see when you've got these edges, I like to show all of that kind of dimension. And the sanding really helps to create that.
So we want to know where the wooden heart came from.
Oh, the wooden heart, yes. So one of our wonderful merchants, her name is Laura Faye. Laura Faye Creations did these wonderful pieces up for us. And you can actually order them direct from her. What we'll do is put a little link so that you can see where they came from. And that way you can order these for yourself. They're such a great price. She put them together all by herself, and she just done such a wonderful job on them. We're so happy to have her as a wonderful merchant. And we've got great merchants all over North America, Australia, Europe, the UK, you name it. And if you go in to see any of our merchants, they are just filled with expertise and advice, and they teach workshops just like this. So if you're hoping to get your hands dirty and maybe you've never tried it before and you're maybe a little bit hesitant to, I can't tell you how easy it is to paint it beautiful with Fusion Mineral Paint. And we hope that this Valentine's Day you'll fall in love with Fusion Mineral Paint.
I really like the overall effect that black wax does, yeah.
So we went more with the blues instead of the traditional pinks and reds, but there's so many different color combos that you can do. And we're going to choose a winner for our giveaway. So do we have any more fun spots that people would put this? There's just so many ideas out there and so many things you can do. But what you will win today is our decoupage medium, and then you'll get a couple of testers of paint as well in colors of your choosing. You'll get to try the wonderful Homestead House Milk Paint stain out, the all-natural stain, and a couple of brushes so that you'll be able to do this. Plus, Laura Faye has so generously donated one of these beautiful hearts, so we'll be sending a whole kit for you.
I think that one of the ladies here was saying that she wants to customize it even more, do that one more step, so using the decoupage and transfer gel to transfer a picture.
That's a great idea. So on the other side here, you can absolutely do a transfer. And I thought like wedding vows would be really cute because you can print out your wedding vows, and to do a transfer is so easy. You could do a coat of paint, and then you would put your decoupage transfer gel medium on first, and then also on the paper. And the only trick is you have to print it in reverse, and it's a really simple, easy thing to do. When you go to print, you go into settings and you want to hit reverse print. So any text that you have, when you lay it down, you let it sit for about 6 to 12 hours. You take a little bit of water to it and the paper comes off. But what's happened is the ink actually stays. So you do want to use a permanent ink. So a laser print would be the most important to use on that sort of thing. But this is awesome. I am so happy with it. And I think that's a great idea. I think that should be our winner. So we'll find you or send us a message, whoever had that wonderful idea, because we think that is brilliant to customize it by doing an actual transfer. And yeah, this is wonderful. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to join in at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There'll be another wonderful DIY home talk for you. And feel free to visit us at fusionmineralpaint.com for more tips and advice. Thanks. Take care. Bye.